If you are someone interested in the wellness slash personal development space, you probably hear all the time how in order to grow, you need to get out of your comfort zone and do the uncomfortable. And it's great advice, but I wanted to dive deeper to why some people may struggle with this aspect of personal development, specifically from the lens of safety. In honor of this month's topic and the fact that we're nearly halfway through 2025, I want to share the question that has been a primary focus this year. Like most people, my biggest yearly goal is to get over the fear of being seen. So the question became, how can people build the confidence to be seen trying despite the challenges they could be facing in the process? So, of course, viewing life as an experiment, I made a hypothesis that confidence has more to do with perceived effort and the actions you do. So, like, if you are taking action and perceive yourself fully doing all you can do, you might feel more confident. If you are taking action but you feel like your effort isn't reflecting your full capabilities, you may feel imposter syndrome or a sense of annoyance at yourself for believing you could be more successful if you actually tried harder. If you aren't taking action at all and you perceive your efforts as not up to who you know you are, you may feel guilt, and so on. This, of course, is all a personal theory, and it's not a professional opinion, but a potential observation, and honestly, it still felt incomplete. So then it was time for a deeper reflection, which led me to think about the difference between comfort versus safety. And if that's the key for doing more of the things you want to do without fear and self-sabotaging. Before continuing this episode, I should probably introduce myself. Hi, my name is Elijah, but you can call me Lay. Welcome back to A Little Atypical, where we dive into all things wellness, personal development, and lifestyle topics. If you're enjoying the show and vibing with these conversations, I would love it if you could take a quick sec to leave a 5-star review and drop a comment, and don't forget to hit the follow button so you never miss an episode. Your support means the world to me and helps other amazing people find our little community. Anyways, let me ask you a question. When pursuing goals, have you ever asked yourself what triggers you the most to make you not follow through with your actions? Or even what contributes to the way you perceive effort? While many of us are familiar with the advice, step out of our comfort zone, few of us consider how our relationship with safety might be affecting our abilities to take those steps. I think what makes a good first step is kind of creating a distinction between comfort versus safety. Comfort and safety may overlap, but they are different concepts. Comfort is about staying in familiar territory where things feel easy and predictable. Safety, on the other hand, is more about security. Which brings me to something I've always thought about, but I've never been able to fully explain because the subject is so multi-layered. We use the term insecure as an insult, right? But when we look at it from a place without judgment, we can observe it as a form of protection. Which I know sounds insane, but hear me out. Someone insecure about their appearances fear being excluded and rejected. Someone insecure about finances fear not being able to have their needs provided for. Someone insecure within relationships fear abandonment, whether it's the other people abandoning them or if they abandon themselves. Someone insecure about their beliefs, whether it's values or spiritual / religious, fear being wrong and morally unjust. And I want to say that acknowledging this isn't meant to undermine or excuse the fact that actions from these things could be harmful and easily taken to extremes. I just want to put things in a perspective that I don't see many people talk about. But when we conflate these two concepts, we might avoid growth opportunities because we mistake discomfort for danger. When we are merely uncomfortable, that discomfort might be a signal for an opportunity of growth rather than a threat to our well-being. Think about it. Learning a new skill feels uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar, not because it's actually dangerous. Last week we spoke about being intimidated when trying new things, and honestly that is an exact sign of discomfort. The key is learning to differentiate between situations that are truly unsafe versus those that are simply uncomfortable will bring us a lot of internal peace. When we make this distinction, we can start building a healthier relationship with discomfort and use it as a compass, pointing towards growth rather than just a warning sign to retreat. So you're probably wondering, how do we begin to make this shift? It starts with becoming your own safe place. When you trust yourself to handle whatever comes your way, when you know you'll be there for yourself, even if things don't go as planned, that's when you can start viewing discomfort as an ally than an enemy, you know? So let's talk about becoming your own safe space, because honestly, it's one of the most beautiful gifts you can give yourself. So step one, start with being gentle with yourself, just like how you would with a close friend who's going through a tough time. Notice that when that inner critic in your head gets loud, work on consciously choosing kindness instead. Next, building trust with yourself is like nurturing any other relationship. I have talked about self-trust and all of that because that was the number one thing that was kind of like a prominent theme in my life last year. So it starts with small promises being kept. Maybe it's as simple as following through when you will say you'll do something like take a walk or spending 5 minutes journaling. Each time you honor these commitments, you're telling yourself you got your own back and that you are committed to showing up for yourself just as you would with other people. Something that has been really powerful for me is keeping track of my journey, not just the wins, but like the whole story, the challenges, the moments you want to give up but didn't, and the lessons that change you. Having those things recorded or written down in a journal, or if you make videos, anything, it's like creating your own evidence of how resilient you truly are. And the ability to look back at things, listen back to things, will actually change you so much. Next, we have to mention boundaries, because there's no way of developing yourself as a safe place without talking about boundaries. They're the way you show up for yourself. It might feel uncomfortable to say no or set limits, especially when you have been saying yes to so many things and so many people, because either you feel like that is how you get people to be on your side and to have a community. But think of it as protecting your energy. The same way you protect people you love, you have to do the same thing for yourself so you can continuously give that love to other people. Next, this one might be hard for some people, but getting comfortable with all your emotions, even the messy ones, because emotions are like the weather. Like, have anyone has ever watched that Disney movie Encanto? Because I know sometimes I just really like watching like comfort, safety movies, whatever. So in the movie, one of the characters' powers or gifts is making the weather change with her moods. And that is a metaphor about emotions in general, that they come and go and none of them last forever. You don't need to judge them or push them away. You can feel what you want to feel freely. And next basic is to create little rituals that ground you. Maybe it's your morning routine with a warm drink. For some people, that's coffee. It could be, if you're like me, I love tea. Or in the way you wind down at night and kind of setting yourself up to anchor yourself through uncertainty, the waves of uncertainty, you know? It's to anchor yourself when things get messy and unclear. And of course, I have to mention a reminder to celebrate yourself, because every step, no matter how big or small, they all matter. That time you spoke up, it counts. The time you chose yourself, that's huge. Each of these moments are building your confidence little by little, brick by brick. And overall, listening to your gut, your intuition, whatever you want to call it, you know those moments when something feels off or when something feels absolutely right? That is inner wisdom talking. The more you listen to it, the stronger it gets, and the less you need others to validate your choices or to get permission. Because every single time, whether we know it or not, or if it seems like a small thing, every single time when we ask someone, even when we know it's right for us, that is a sense of getting permission. I remember growing up in a time, even asking my friends, should I post this picture? Even if it had nothing to do with them, even if it was just like an outfit picture or an outfit of the day or whatever. Having to get that validation from your friend group before you post something. That is something so small, but it really adds up in your head that you don't trust in your own sense of choice. And you're probably asking yourself, why does all this matter? Becoming your own safe space is so important because life is always changing. Our surroundings shift, our relationships grow and change or release, and we're constantly discovering new parts of ourselves and getting rid of old ones. When we don't feel secure within ourselves during these changes, we tend to resist growth and stay stuck in patterns that aren't serving us. But the beautiful part is when you build that inner sense of safety, it's like having a strong foundation that lets you embrace change rather than fear it. You can try new things, see new perspectives, and become different versions of yourself without feeling like you're losing who you are. It is your internal compass that helps you navigate life's ups and downs while staying true to yourself. That's all for this episode, and now for our moonology-based card pull. We got full moon in Sagittarius. Look at the bigger picture. Are you thinking too much about the details of your dilemma? Fretting every minute can be counterproductive, or perhaps you're being all talk and no action. This card is a reminder that while it's good to think things through, sometimes you need to step back and look at the bigger picture. What do you see about your current situation? What's the most positive thought you can have about it? Now is the time to count your blessings, even if you don't have exactly what you want. This card is also a reminder that we often have to take risk and go with uncertainty on this journey called life. Try to keep an open mind about what's for the best. The universe could surprise you. Attune to the moon. Take time out for a mini break or adventure. Additional meanings for this card. This situation may have come around because you've been distracted. Be confident without being overconfident to win the day. Have you shown you care? If not, now is the time. Find a balance between speaking your mind and saying too much. The teaching. The full moon in Sagittarius is a time when we are reminded that life is an adventure and there's a big wide world to see beyond our backyard. It's about having fun and being prepared to sail into uncharted territories. It's about big ideas versus the details. No matter when you draw this card, it encourages you to look at the bigger picture. This card pull connects well with what we discussed about safety versus comfort. Looking at the bigger picture helps us understand when something is actually unsafe versus uncomfortable. The Sagittarius full moon encourages us to take a step back and look at our overall growth journey. Building a safe relationship with ourselves doesn't mean we have to have everything planned perfectly. It's about learning to trust ourselves as we grow, even when things are uncertain. This card matches what we talked about earlier, finding the right balance between thinking things through and taking action while building self-trust. Now for what I'm grateful for is that June is right around the corner because of the new changes coming into my life. As someone who genuinely enjoys being challenged, I welcome these transitions with an open mind and heart. While I've come to appreciate the slower pace of my current season, knowing that there was absolutely a purpose for it and that I'll probably miss these quieter days once things pick up speed again, it's exciting to think about how the lessons I've learned during this slower period will translate into a faster paced lifestyle. Like, will they hold strong? Will they transform into something new? I'm just curious to see how I'll adapt and find a new rhythm. That's it, my friends. You're a real one for making it to the end. Thank you for tuning into today's episode of A Little Atypical. If you found this helpful, don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share this with someone who might need to hear this message. Remember to view the description box where you can find important links such as the one to my website, where there's always so much more bonus content. Until next time, have a good day, evening, or night, and stay authentically atypical. Okay, bye!